Hello there. Welcome to the Kirk Minahan wrap-up show. Today's date, July 25th, 2022. Show Never Speak for Me in relation to me DMing the Viva the Stool account. Speaking on behalf of Kirk and the show, extremely fucked up. Kirk called it my biggest mistake to date in the 3 years I've been with the show, on and off. He said this was even worse than the 29,000 thing, and we'll get into it, but I tend to agree. And you can see why. So I'm joined by Andrew Augustus, formerly of Kirkenoff, but they're no longer a thing, even though I did see they posted a podcast last week. How's it going, Andrew? Thanks for joining me on this beautiful Monday.
Happy to be back. Happy to be back. And it definitely was your biggest fuck up. but I can kind of relate. So
yeah, I mean, it was. I mean, like Kirk has said in the past, like when things. I think what we're talking about the 9/11 memorial that Fox Baseball did. He said he would fire the person not because of what they did; it's because of their instincts and why they would think they would get away with that. And that's kind of similar to this. Like, why would I think I should be speaking on behalf of the show and Kirk in the messages? And it was really fucked up. I see Gaz at the Viva La Stool account tweeted it out, said like retweeted the clip from the show saying like one of Kirk's people did this. Gaz retweeted that saying like if anyone ever gets a DM from the Kirk Minahan show account, message me first before responding to it. It was just overall just a terrible fuck up. I should not have done that. I don't know if I'll ever get back into the good graces of Kirk. He was legitimately upset. It was a rough scene for myself, and I think Kirk going into the show today wanted it to be not a surprise, but you could tell at the beginning he was like Dave, you told him, and that's not at all what happened. It's I saw the message thread on Saturday. I saw Kirk. He read it on the show where he's like, absolutely tag whoever you want. It was either Dave or Justin who sent this. They were absolutely in the wrong for this. And my first thought was like, oh fuck, I completely fucked this up. Should not have done that. Panicked a little bit. I thought about, should I text Kirk saying like this was me, and then I thought like that's not going to end well. I'm sure Kirk wants to bring this up on the show. And then when I was picking up Mike this morning, obviously I don't look at Twitter while I'm driving, so I picked up Mike, and the first thing Mike says is, "What'd you do?" And I was like, "Oh, I think I fucked up big time with this thing." And he was like, "Oh yeah." So that's what Kirk was referencing. I didn't even see Kirk's tweet until I got into the studio today. So that was definitely the biggest takeaway from that. It was just a giant fuck up on my part. Shouldn't have. And I can definitely see, and not definitely see. It's like if you read it, it comes off as someone speaking on behalf of the show and Kirk Minahan. So it was definitely a major fuck up on my part.
It's one thing. You do own up to it, and even Kirk, as Kirk said over and over again, it's like we know you get it. We know what you did was wrong. And I think from the way my biggest takeaway for you was the same way you have that effect on Clemmer, where he just loses his mind a little bit at times against you. It's the same reverse. There's just something about Clemmer that you just don't think you're doing something well, but it's just the judgment gets.
Of course.
It's we've all been there. If you have any vengeance against anyone in any way, we've all been there before.
Yeah, it was just a rough start to the show. I was like, in my head, I was like, fuck. I was like, I should just be gone. You know, when Kirk starts bringing out the thing like I'd fire you, but I'm afraid you'd kill yourself. It was just like I should just leave. I mean, I should just not be here if that's what he thinks. Because I've tried to make it clear these past couple months or whatever. Like if I leave the show or anything, I promise I'm not going to kill myself. But that should never be a reason for keeping someone. So there was some thoughts in my head during the show today on what I should send Dave tonight. But I think I'm I think I have gone against those. So, but yeah, it was just a really bad fuck up, and especially like when Kirk says like this is even worse than the 29,000 thing, it just like it's home because like Kirk has said before, like this is a fundamental flaw. It's not something that you like. This is just like not something that goes away with experience. I mean, I've had experience. I've been with the show for 3 years. This is just an ignorant fucking move that is not something that he thinks and that I think can be changed. So I say I'm never going to do something like this again. But the way Kirk was presenting it was definitely like this is a fundamental. This is like ingrained in Justin's DNA. So I definitely took a giant leap, tumbling down Mount Everest in the eyes of not that I was very high up Mount Everest, but definitely tumbled down in the eyes of Kirk. But it was completely fucked. So
I mean, and you're in a tough situation there, just because you're listening to it. You handled it as best you could, and I mean, you tried to give your explanation, but you just kind of have to sit there and take it. I mean, being reprimanded at work isn't fun. It sucks, and I mean, and for your level, there's a lot. As a listener, it was great. I'll say it was good content on our part, but it's one of these situations. You always will either get someone who will turtle and cower away and just go off into the sunset, a little Harrison-esque, and just overreact, or you recover, like I'm sure we're going to talk about later. So we have a lot of ups and downs to go through.
I guess, but my recovering is Justin, your fucking car is disgusting. It's not like Kirk's not going to be like, Justin, your car is disgusting. Great on you. You saved the show. What a great fucking job. I mean, it wasn't anything I did. It was just me being just a fucking disgusting slob who hasn't gone to the gas station to throw out all this fucking shit in his backseat. But we'll get to that in a little bit. A couple other smaller topics. I'm sure we're going to talk more about this on Wednesday with Keith the consultant. It was sent in right before the show. Dave, listen to the first like 3 minutes of like an 18-minute thing he sent. I think that can be some great content, and I'm looking forward to that on Wednesday.
If you've ever been around a radio station, you can picture this person perfectly, and you can see it in his voice. You can tell he's gonna try to come off like he thinks he's playing around and having fun, but deep down he actually believes all the bullshit he's about to spew.
Of course, I mean, I just think it was funny, So Dave said he sent him 2 episodes to listen to, and the guy's like 5 minutes in. He's like, I have no idea what's going on. You're talking about mac and cheese, Jon Stewart, and all these other like just inside show things. And I don't know. It's just such like I can never imagine like saying to a podcast like every now and then you have to be like, my producer Dave, is there anything else left? And like I don't know. And just a reminder, you're listening to the Kirk Minahan show. It's like I know what I'm listening to. I clicked on it. I understand what this is. This isn't like something you're jumping around and you accidentally land on something, especially like something like KMS where it's so ingrained. I think Kirk said it best when he's like, all of my listeners know who Mike and Dave are when it comes to it. And it was before the show. Yeah, Mike was saying like, so Dave would be producer Dave, and he's like, would I just be sidekick Mike? And I was like, no, I guarantee you, he would love the name Blind Mike. Blind Mike is the perfect radio.
It's all his bread and butter in it, and I think it goes to Kirk's greater point that these people in radio just don't listen, because Dave was very clear to say this is a podcast, and if you have any broadcasting experience, you don't need to say the show name.
Well, and also, like, even if Dave didn't say this is a podcast, it's like, well, how do you listen to it? Oh, you listen to it on podcasts. So I don't know. Maybe and there was swearing. It's certainly not like clean. Like it's I don't know.
He's edgy. He's cool. He's gonna pretend like he's gonna be on the joke, and then he's gonna have his Twitter account next, and everyone's gonna be like, look at me. He'll get
I don't know. No, I don't know. I think someone with 30 years of radio experience is really like. I can't see him jumping into the world, but I don't know who knows, but I think that's going to make some good content on Wednesday. A couple other things before we get into the Jon Stewart stuff. There was a little, kind of the talk of the town in Boston this week, this morning, Jaylen Brown for Kevin Durant. Kirk, made some. You wanted to talk Celtics for a little bit. I know he said he's probably never seen Jaylen Brown actually play or pay attention to him. But it was it's good to hear Kirk get into sporty mode every now and then, especially with not the number one. It's not the Patriots. And to hear him talk about the Celtics is you can definitely tell he can just flip a switch and he can go straight back into early WEI sporty Kirk and he can make it interesting.
And like he said, it's the Celtics have kind of been his thing growing up, and it was always Larry Bird and Bruce Springsteen. So it's always good to hear the passion about it, and it's people want to listen to you when you're passionate about a subject, and it's always good to get those classic EEI full sporty. He does is trying to get by Kirk. It's a very funny good listen.
I think when it comes to the Celtics, I think Kirk. I wouldn't necessarily say Kirk has passion for the Celtics. He certainly had passion for the Celtics 40 years ago, but I don't think he currently has passion. I think he's able to, fake passion for the Celtics when talking about, trading for Kevin Durant and for Jaylen Brown and all that fun stuff. But yeah, but I do like how later on he was talking about David Ortiz. He's like, we can't talk sports for forever. And I mean, is there anything more boring than talking about Hall of Fame inductions? Remember when David Ortiz hit this hit? That was the day. Those were the days. Oh, remember when he hit this hit? Yeah, that was great. Remember when he swung, did this in the dugout? Yes, it's all just a bunch of member berries going on.
And then you drop "This is our fucking city" and all the hits play and everyone goes up in arms. Congratulations, you're good at baseball. I'm very proud of you.
Let's see what else here. New ally in Barstool since the last show. Alex Bennett, big Kirk Minahan guy, big Mina fan now. She wrote a blog today talking about Kirk's deal with her. If they can get to 70,000 pay-per-views on Rough and Rowdy for Rough and Rowdy 18, August 19th, Kirk will be sent to Oklahoma City, flown out by Alex Bennett. Not to Oklahoma City, to Tulsa.
Going to
Tulsa. Will be flown out, gets to meet Bruce Springsteen, and that also means that Kirk gets to go to. Will be blessing us with 5 days a week of KMS in September, October, November. That's 3 days. I think I tallied it up. That's over 30 hours, or it's over 20 extra shows. Over give an hour and a half per show. 30 hours of extra content. Rough and Rowdy's $30. Go to buyrnr.com. Purchase it. And also it's a great fight. It's super entertaining. Big Cat and Dave announce it, and they both just completely just destroy. It's the funniest thing. It's amateur fighters who are not supposed to be fighting. They're fighting. It's great. It's great content. It's completely worth the $30 on its own. If you bundle it together with the possibility of getting more Kirk Minahan during the fall. I mean, what else can you fucking say? I mean,
top 5 national anthem in all of sports happens at Rough and Rowdy.
Oh yeah, Big Cat sings the national anthem. Oh, it's great. Definitely go. Yeah, definitely sign it up. Sign up for that. But it's good to have Alex Bennett, unexpected ally. I read her blog today. In it, she talks a little bit about how she's like, I really didn't know who Kirk Minahan was. I just know that he had enough of Dave's respect to when the whole Mean Girls thing first went on. Dave came on Kirk's show to talk about it, and it seems like she's on board. She just wants to sell these pay-per-views, and she's willing to do whatever it takes.
Any ally, as we've seen with people in the past, it's always nice at the start. Let's see how we'll see how it plays out in the long term.
No, I think
as long as she can spell his name right, that's it. That's all she's got to do.
Yeah, she did misspell his name. We all make mistakes, so that's okay. But if she, I have a feeling if she comes through with Bruce meet and greet tickets to Tulsa, he will be able to. I think he can forgive her for forgetting an E at the end of his name. So
yeah,
but other kind of rough and rowdy news. Kirk said this kind of annoyed him. It annoyed me as well. Over on Friday when all this rough and rowdy stuff was going on, all the Minifans were going crazy buying the rough and rowdy, trying to get 5 days a week. Suddenly I'm on the show account DMing Viva La Stool, just the stupidest of fucking takes, and I see a message request sent from the Gerry Callahan podcast. It was like, hey, this is Intern Graham. If Justin wants to, I want to challenge him to a rough and rowdy fight at, for the next one, and we'll see where it goes. And I was like, I didn't even respond. I was like, this is fucking stupid. I tweeted out something to Craig. I was like, hey, Craig, have Graham focus on selling coffee. I think he's their coffee guy. I texted Craig. I was like, yeah, this is not going to happen. First of all, I don't want to fight in rough and rowdy. Second of all, Kirk doesn't want me to fight in rough and rowdy. Third of all, I asked Craig, I was like, how big is this kid? Apparently he's like 170 pounds. So I was like, okay, so this wouldn't be sanctioned. This is just such a fucking, I could list 1,000 reasons why this fight would never happen. It's just the stupidest fucking, like Kirk said. I mean, I guess me fighting would have some would entice some Minifans to watch it who perhaps might not, but like no one gives it, like, I'm gonna fight some kid I've never fucking met before and I don't have actual disdain for. It's just so fake, and it just goes against everything. And then the Gerry Callahan podcast quote tweeted Kirk doing the same thing, saying like, at Trudell DM has officially been challenged to a fight by Graham, and it's like, this is like, I don't know what's going on. So the whole thing was just silly. It's just a pipe dream. It's no, I don't want to fight. Kirk doesn't want me to fight. It's just silly.
There's only one person you realistically could fight that would, I think, bring in the views, and that's Clemmer.
No, but once again, like let's list the thousands of reasons why this will never happen. One, I'm pretty sure Chris. Unless Chris gains 300 pounds or I lose 300 pounds, I don't think that's happening. But sure, we'll go with that. Yeah, that would be incredible content where I throw 5 punches and I'm out of breath and he's running around, but he's not able. But he's just tapping me in the stomach. Yeah, that would be literally the worst fight of all time.
I'm just saying that would be the only like personality or barstool related thing that I could see you being like, oh, that's why I would get into rough and rowdy. But there's no, as you said, there's no point. It's just as stupid as I was like, oh, I'll go get married in Mississippi. No one gives a shit if I did.
Yeah, it's just it was just, I don't know, it was just silly. And I texted Craig today to see if they talked about it on Gerry Callahan's podcast. They have not. So I'd be interested to see if Gerry even knows what the fuck happened or if any of this happened or Kirk corresponded with him.
No way he knows what's going on.
So that was that. Before we get to my car, which kind of has been, the focal point of on Twitter today, other than me just completely shitting the bed and DMing stupid things to accounts that are much more important than myself. So Jon Stewart was supposed to be, Kirk came up with like this dating game today, like win a date with Jon Stewart. Had some ideas thrown out. He tweets it out. Jon Stewart shoots it down, said hard pass. So sounds like at the end that it's going to be win a date with Justin. We'll see how that goes.
You're nervous for this?
No. Why would I be nervous?
I'm just saying, like, who knows what could show up? Who would be interested in J-Rock?
Yeah, I have no idea if there's anyone in their, in their 20s who wants to win a date with Justin. We'll see how that goes. But it should be
Justin or J-Rock is the question.
That's in the very infant stages of that. But yeah, we'll get to the car in a second. But Cullinan has to fucking stop with these stories. I mean, his story today about going to the eye doctor and being like, eye doctors are so sexual. I've been to the eye doctor plenty of times. They have to get close to you because they have to look into your eyeball.
Yeah, that's natural. Every eye exam I've gone to, the doctor has been within inches of my face to see my eyes.
They have to check out your eyes, make sure your cornea is all set, and I get pictures taken of my the backs of my eyes, and I get my eyes dilated, and I have to wear like special sunglasses because I can't fucking see for the longest time. It's a whole big deal when I go to eye doctors. Never have I ever once been like maybe we're wrong, and all these women keep just throwing themselves at Dave.
He's a solid 9'5". Come on.
The idea that like the eye doctor was like sitting in his lap, like rubbing her ass on his, it's just like, it's Dave. Like, I don't know. You're going to go to a different eye doctor. They're going to do the same thing. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, is it become the boy who cries wolf with Dave
I
with these
won't say it's
stories?
the boy who cries wolf. It's Dave is starting to sound like that guy at the golf course who's like, I can get with the cart girl. He's starting to come off like that really bad.
Oh, I know plenty of those guys, and
That's what I'm saying.
my poor cart girls. They have to deal with a lot, but yeah, it's just fucking it. No, it's not even like that. It's like Dave. I mean, this woman is doing her job. She probably makes $300,000 a year. She probably has a trophy husband who's like 10 years younger than her. She's nothing. But I don't know, man. It's just like these fucking stories of, if you're that maybe I don't know, maybe he's got some serious issues going on with that, and he needs to go to like a special eye doctor where they're you know 10 feet apart to make their patients feel safe. But it's just like what the fuck, Dave?
I won't say I think he genuinely believes these things are happening to him. However, they're just normal common.
Is it just narcissism then?
That's what I'm getting at. Like that's where you get with like the hitting on the car girl type of thing. Like, it's like he thinks all these people are so attracted to him, they have to rub up on him. They have to give him a little show.
I don't know. I don't know.
Dave.
I love Dave. I love Dave too, but it's like I don't know. You hear these stories, and it's just like I have a feeling your optometrist is not, trying to fuck you. It's just, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong, and I'm just a complete asshole for not believing this one. I just think it's a little silly. But let's get to my car. So near the end of the show, take some phone calls. They were all right. A couple good ones. Whenever Kirk's talking about Rocky, he always gets passionate. It's great to hear that passion. And then Kirk's like, Justin, I don't know. Did you park in front of me today? And of course I parked before Kirk. But I assumed because I parked behind Dave, I was like, I believe so. And I have a sticker on the back of my car. And I did have some trash in the back seat. Kirk's like, it's disgusting. Dave goes out there, takes a couple photographs, and it's like a come to Christ moment, when you get these photographs thrown in front of you, and then it's posted out there on the internet for thousands of people to see, and you're like, fuck, I do have a problem. You ever notice that? Like someone's like, oh, you don't think you play a lot of Xbox? Like, here's all the Xbox hours you've logged in the past month. And you're like, Jesus Christ. It's like the trash was gross. It was just fucking shit everywhere. There's a bunch of like things I have a reason for every single thing being in that car. I've seen a couple people be like, the fuck is up with the duct tape? It's very, very strange. So a month and a half ago, I want to say, my buddy was driving my car, and
this isn't starting off good. You've been working on the case, and the phrase "my buddy was driving my car in duct tape" is not a good start, Justin.
Okay, well, he drove over one of those those concrete stops that make you from stopping from like crashing into a store. He drove over that, drove back. I grabbed my car. I was driving, and then like the rubber or the plastic piece that like is on the beneath. Anyway, that piece fell off, and I needed to get it fixed, and it was dragging, and so it was scraping the ground. It was just making a noise. So I had to get duct tape from my shed and duct tape it all together before it got fixed. It eventually got fixed. I still have the duct tape in my car. I promise it's not used for nefarious reasons. There's one other thing in there that people were like, what the fuck is wrong with that? What?
I mean, the Friars hat stood out to me. The random Friars hat. Much respect.
Oh yeah, so that's I've had that since high school because I liked I liked Big East hockey in high school. I had a BC, a BU hat, PC hat. I had a whole shit ton of hats, and somehow the PC hats. I had a thing for a PC girl a couple of years ago, and I kept it in my car to be like, oh. But anyway, everyone's fucking saying, oh, where are the bags of vegetables? Where are the bags of vegetables? I've said this a trillion fucking times, and shout out to my guy Red for reiterating this on Twitter. The bags of vegetables, I eat them at night to stop late night snacking. That's what it does. I don't eat bags of vegetables in my car. I don't eat bags of vegetables for meal replacements. I eat them to stop late night snacking. That's what I do. So why would there? And also, like, take the frozen vegetables, put it in the microwave. I don't go freezer, microwave, and then go eat it in my car. No, that'd be silly. Of course, there's going to be fast food wrappers in my car. If I make a steak at my house, I'm not going to go eat it in my car and then have plates. I've done that before though. Like if I'm going out, like so it's fucked up. I'm a fucking mess. I was going to clean my car today. I was going to make a little stream of it, going through each and everything. And then Kirk decided that there's going to be a sleepover element for someone to try to get the second chair spot on a Friday. I'm assuming this will take place one of these Thursdays coming up, leading into the Friday show. It's going to be announced more on Wednesday, taking calls. I believe Kirk said at 9:30 a.m. on Wednesday, trying to fill those slots for those roles, for those chances to be being able to stay in my car for 12 hours. I will say, everyone keeps saying, oh, I bet it smells. It doesn't fucking smell. There's no dirty clothes. There's some food wrappers. It might smell a little greasy. There's nothing too fucked up in there. There's nothing decaying. Nothing. I have had food in there in the past, but there's none. Thankfully, there's none in there right now. But yeah, so that's the deal with my car.
I would say what would even be more entertaining would just be getting like 10 minifans, and they don't get to go in the car, hand on the car like the old classic last.
What is this stuff? Fucking yeah. I think if Kirk Minahan channels his inner Mr. Beast and they decide to,
I don't know if it's the Mr. Beast thing. I don't know.
That is 100% a Mr. Beast thing. Last person to take their hand off the car, wins the car. I mean, granted, it is my car. I probably won't be giving it away anytime soon. But no, I don't think that would be something. And also, I mean, who gives a shit about just 10 guys just having their hand on the car? The whole point is to be inside the gross car. So it was not clean today. It won't be cleaned for the foreseeable future, which aggravates me a little bit, because when something is like pointed out to you and you're like, if I was like, Andrew, like, let me get this straight. Your hair looks great. You look very great. But if I was like, oh, Andrew, like, you got to get a haircut. And then you're like, oh shit, I need to get a haircut. And then like you were told like, yeah, you can't get a haircut for 3 weeks. It's going to fucking annoy you. So now whenever I have someone in my car, I'll be freaking out. I'll be like, fuck. My car's so gross. But
just explain it's work. It's a work thing. Keep it vague.
Yeah, it's a work thing. Fine. So anywho, that about does it for what I had.
No, it was a great show today. It was a good list. It's the highlight of my week when I listen to Kirk, because it's a good little relaxer while I sit in traffic all pissed off. So it's always a good fun listen. It was, if you want any advice about your fuck up, don't bring it up anymore. Just let it die from here on out, and then just don't make it again, and you'll be good. Don't do the self-pity thing that Mike used to do and Clemmer's now doing. You don't need to go self-pity route.
Oh yeah, I fucked up and I own it. But it's on to the next one. It's just tough. But nevertheless, she persisted. So we'll see. Yeah, I'll be keeping my dirty car for the foreseeable future. And this is I think that about does it. Anything else from today's show, Andrew? Anything you want to promote?
No, I got nothing to promote. Just relaxing now. It's nice. Got some time off and I'm moving. So that's about it.
Fun. Well, perfect. I will thank you for everyone for listening to the KMS wrap up. Thanks to Kirk, obviously. Thanks to Mike. Thanks to Dave for a great show. And we will talk to you all on